It's crispy, and it's very unusual. And the history is almost as unusual. Over 200 years ago, the Moravian Count Nicholas von Zinzendorf sailed to colonial North Carolina, and he brought with him refugees and their customs as well as their recipes. And one of these recipes was what is now known as the Moravian cookie. Moravia is in the former Czech Republic. Into a bowl, you sift 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Follow these directions exactly. It's a hard recipe to come by, and I'm very proud to have it here with me today. 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of ground cloves, 2 teaspoons of ground allspice, and 1 tablespoon of ground ginger. A lot of spices. 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and make sure it's fresh baking soda. And 2 teaspoons of salt. There's more flour added, so don't get scared. It's not just 1 cup of flour. Now sift this all together, and you have a very fragrant mixture. Using the paddle attachment, you will add 1½ cups of molasses, nice dark molasses, and brown sugar, 1 cup of brown sugar. I love molasses. And it's a packed cup. Break it up. Now when it's well combined, add 1/2 cup of vegetable shortening that's been melted and cooled. Don't let it cool too much because then it solidifies again. And 1/2 cup or 1 stick of unsalted butter that's also been melted and cooled. This recipe comes from one of our cooks, Virginia's godmother, Jenny Wingate. And the recipe is in an out-of-print book called The Moravian Wishing Well of Recipes. Now, on a low speed, once the butter and the shortening has been added, you're going to add your spice mixture. So I'll just pour this in. Make sure you keep the speed on low, otherwise you'll lose everything over the sides. Oh, boy, does that smell good. And now you're going to add another 4 cups of all-purpose flour. On speed 1 or 2, add your flour. The dough is going to be very, very stiff. And you can see why you have to use a big, heavy-duty mixer like this. Ooh, you can see how even this powerful machine is straining to mix. Divide the dough in half, roll this out. Make sure that it's an even thickness. The longer it chills, the more pungent the spices. And now, because the dough has to be chilled, we're going to cut this rectangle into 4 quadrants. Take one of these, put the other 3 pieces back in the refrigerator, and we're going to be rolling right on our silpat. And we're going to lightly dust the silpat. These are available in cooking stores. They're also available through Martha by Mail, our catalog company. Now also, dust the rolling pin. The reason I like this rolling pin is that the rolling process goes quickly. And because this is a ball-bearing action in this rolling pin, I don't have to expend too much pressure. A little bit more this way. And now I like to just brush off the excess flour. The mat gets placed right on top of a cookie sheet, and this goes into a 325-degree preheated oven. When it's in the oven for 10 minutes, rotate the pan and bake for 4 minutes more. And now, let's see. It looks good. Now, what we want to do is cut out as many cookies as possible. By the way, 1 batch makes 375 cookies. See how nicely they snap out? Make sure your cookie cutter is sharp And you have to work quickly. If this gets too cool, then you're going to have to put it back in the oven for 45 to 60 seconds to rewarm the dough and cut it again. Stamp out as many cookies as possible, and you will have a tray full of the world's thinnest cookies. As you stamp out the cookies, make sure you flatten them with the palm of your hand if you want them to stack really neatly in the tin. And once you've baked all your Moravian cookies, you can pack them in these charming little tins. They're 2-inch in diameter tins that you line with a piece of corrugated cardboard, like that. And you just stack in your cookies and fill all the way up to the top. Cover tightly. And then if you like, you can do some very nice decorating, and you'll have a lot of happy friends when they taste that spicy cookie of the week, the Moravian cookie.
Monday on Martha Stewart Living.